Hi everyone and welcome to The Rich Life. My name is Shristi if you're new to my channel, and I make videos on business, wellness, and lifestyle, and today's video is going to be all about my isotretinoin journey. I know on my channel I have a few videos on my CO2 laser experience, and since my second laser, I actually got a third done, and I'll film a video on that shortly because the CO2 lasers honestly helped my skin tremendously. And if you go to a good doctor and feel like you're comfortable with that procedure, because it is quite invasive for a skin procedure, I would recommend it. But since then, I noticed that my acne started flaring up. And I'm gonna insert a few pictures. This was around New Year's during the pandemic. I was honestly frustrated because I have been battling acne for so many years since I was around 13, and I felt like I tried everything. I tried skincare products. I tried to see dermatologists, and they gave me several different ointments like tretinoin with clindamycin. They also gave me oral tablets that was supposed to help with the inflammation and bacteria. And unfortunately, even with all that, I wasn't seeing any results. So I ended up going back to my dermatologist and asking to be put on Accutane. The reason why I asked for it is because my acne wasn't so severe to the point where that would be, like the go-to response. It was persistent, it was cystic, but on the large scale of things, it was mild to moderate acne and not severe acne. So I requested it, I did my research, I was aware of the side effects. So I started my isotretinoin journey in February of 2020. I wanted to give you guys an overview of how the process went and my final thoughts on it. I started on a much lower dose. I think it was 30 milligrams based on my height and weight. So during the first month of me being on isotretinoin, I didn't really notice any severe side effects. I did notice that my skin was a little bit drier than normal, but I was honestly really excited to be on it because in my mind, this was going to be the one treatment that would hopefully end my acne forever, at least minimize it forever. I didn't really notice any major side effects. I didn't feel depressed or tired. I didn't feel any of those pretty common side effects. So I was really happy about that, but that also might have been because I was on a much lower dose. What I did notice, which was really surprising to me, is that my acne pretty much started disappearing within the first month itself. So I know for most people it takes about like 5 to 6 months to see results, but I think because my acne was pretty mild to moderate, I started noticing results very quickly. Like by the time I hit my second month, honestly, I don't think I got a breakout since. Maybe like a minor one on my cheek here or there, or like my forehead, but I really didn't notice any acne after the first month and a half or 2 months. By the time I hit my third month, that's when my dermatologist decided to increase my dosage. And I think the minimum course for isotretinoin for most people is 5 months, and sometimes it's 6 months if you still are not seeing your acne disappear. By the time I hit my third month, my dosage doubled and I was on 60 milligrams instead of 30. And I think that's when I really started noticing some of the more serious side effects. So initially, I first noticed dry skin, which is pretty normal, especially around the mouth area, the lips. Overall, my skin was very dry. I also noticed that my hair was dry, which was something I didn't expect, but it makes sense. My hair dried out, especially because I was also styling my hair and dyeing it, so it became very like brittle looking, which is something I have to work to get a little bit more moisturized. I think by now it's a little bit healthier, but while I was on isotretinoin, it looked very dry. Another thing I noticed is that I started noticing some joint ache, and most days it really wasn't severe. It was an occasional like ache for a while, but then some days I noticed like I felt like I could barely move, but it usually didn't last for too long. I'd say a few minutes of like more intense joint pain, and then it would get better after that. I think the most concerning side effect I experienced was related to like inflammation, especially within my like digestive tract. So I know rectal bleeding is pretty common and it's not a widely talked about side effect, but like for the sake of this video, wanted to be transparent and let you know that I did experience that, and that was really alarming at first, and I wasn't really sure what was causing that because I knew it's probably because of the dryness in that area because my whole body was being dried out basically. It was a little alarming to see at first, and I also ended up seeing a GI specialist just in case to see what was going on, and I felt like it was inflaming my digestive tract because I started experiencing stomach pains or like stuff I wouldn't normally experience before I was on isotretinoin. So that is something I would keep in mind. I know it's not talked about frequently or listed as one of the most common side effects. Everyone's body is different, and I wanted to share my experience, and I did experience that. Also, briefly, when I was on the higher dosage, I did notice some depressive symptoms. Because I was aware that I was on isotretinoin, I was able to manage it more, but it would be a lot easier for me to cry. I felt like I was constantly on the brink of tears, and it's something my family and some of my close friends noticed too. That is one thing I think you need to be aware of going in, that is a possible side effect. I think it's something you should communicate to your dermatologist, close family, friends, so they're aware that you are feeling that way. But just so you're aware, know that it's not something that's within your control. It's the isotretinoin, and it can be managed, and try to keep it in perspective that it is the medicine that is making you feel that way. So all in all, those were a few of the major side effects I experienced, and I know that was a lot. I think the dryness is pretty manageable, but everything else I think is pretty severe for a side effect that is just for aesthetic purposes. For me, acne was something that was really damaging to my self-esteem, and I felt like I just wanted it to be gone once and for all, and it didn't matter like what the price was. And for me, it was the numerous side effects I experienced. I hope it doesn't have any long-term side effects beyond that, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated. But I feel fine right now, which is good. I stopped isotretinoin in September, and the reason why it was prolonged is because I moved during that time, which is why my background is a little bit different. But I ended up going back to a 30 milligram dose for a couple months because I was moving and I couldn't really go back and forth and get the prescription refilled. To give you a brief overview of what it takes to be on isotretinoin and like what the process looks like. The first initial visit consisted of me going to a dermatologist and basically requesting it and them agreeing that that was the right solution for me or the right treatment for me. And then after that, during my second visit, I ended up taking a pregnancy test, and women are required to take pregnancy tests every month, and that's just a requirement to make sure that we are being safe, and we're also required to be on 2 contraceptive methods, and that's because isotretinoin can cause serious damage to fetuses. So that's something I have to do every month. It's a little inconvenient if you're working full-time or you're in school and you can't really take a lot of time off, but if you book appointments really early on in the day, it should be pretty manageable. I would also get blood tests periodically just to make sure everything is going well. So I got one done during my first visit, halfway throughout the course, and then at the end. So that's what a lot of the clinical visits consisted of. And aside from that, the dermatologist would look at my skin, check my progress, and also evaluate if they think you should stay on Accutane for a month longer or stop at the 4-month mark. Overall, I am pretty happy with my decision to go on isotretinoin. I stopped treatment in September of 2021, so I started the process in January of 2021. I started the actual dosage in February of 2021 and ended in September of 2021, and it was delayed because of my move and not being able to go see my dermatologist for a bit. But I feel that it was the right decision for me just because acne was something that was really damaging to my self-esteem, and I was really frustrated. I was trying everything possible from skincare routines, nutrition, making sure my cortisol levels were down, but still I noticed that I still had persistent cystic acne that was leaving scarring, and I also was paying a lot of money to get like microneedling, lasers done. So I felt like I think I should go back to the root cause of it and deal with the acne first before proceeding with any more acne scar treatments. I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope the pictures were helpful so you could see my progress as well. And at the end of the day, I do think this is a very personal decision. It is a serious drug. It's not something to take lightly. But I feel like if you are at a point where you feel like having minimized acne would be really helpful to your self-esteem or to your overall quality of life, I do think it is worth it as long as you constantly communicate to your derm what side effects you're experiencing. And yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you, and please let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'll try to answer the best that I can based on my experience, and I hope to see you in my next video.